Hello, beautiful people. It is your girl, Jeanette the Oracle, and I decided that I was going to come on and drop a quick message because I don't know about you, but the energy is just really kind of all over the place. And I know that we just had the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus that happened 2 days ago. So, there's definitely the after effects of that and the strong Scorpio energy. But we've also I feel like there's this kind of delayed reaction or effect to everything that's just been going on the past few days, literally this week. So with all the massive layoffs in tech, Twitter and Meta, just laying off literally thousands of people. I think it was about 13,000 for Meta and like 11,000 for Twitter. So, there's a collective shock and grief and sense of betrayal and like all of that that's kind of there in the energy. Of course, we had the eclipse, which was just bringing up all the stuff, all the emotions. And then, of course, we had the midterm elections here in the US. And it's definitely been very much a mixed bag of results. Regardless of which side of the aisle you are on. Over here, we are progressive, so we vote as far left as we can or as harm reduction as possible. That's this platform. But yeah, so it's been a lot. And my spirit in particular has just been really restless. Not so much any real like big emotions coming up because I think I did a lot of processing before we were coming into the eclipse. But it occurred to me that like some of what I'm feeling is probably not just mine. It's probably also like what everyone is just kind of feeling and not quite sure how to feel about things. Possibly not having quite fully landed into how they really feel. Yeah, just those kinds of things. So let me know in the comments if that is resonating. But I wanted to come on as Jeanette the Oracle and just provide some quick guidance. And hopefully this can support you in the process. Well, let's see what's going on. And I'm actually going to call in the Mother Goddess energy to ground this reading and to be the primary point of contact for this message. If you are watching and you feel like this might be benefit to others, please share this with them, of course. Please, of course, like the video as well. This helps to spread this in the Instagram ecosystem. If you're not already subscribed to me, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you would like to work with me, whether for personal development or for professional development, you can check out my website at the link in my bio. Okay. The website is innersonalchemy.com. And if you would like to donate to this work, my PayPal is also at the link in my bio. Yeah, this energy is all over the place. I've been getting Nine of Swords pretty often as I'm trying to get the grounding card out first. Okay. So let's see what we are needing to focus on right now to navigate this. The thing that's popping up initially is, taking agency in terms of how we want to feel and what we want to experience is what is initially coming through. But I'm going to get the cards out. Hello to everyone who's coming in. We're just doing a quick check-in on the energy because, again, we've been through a lot, literally the past like 48 to 72 hours, and I can feel that the energy is just kind of all over the place. Okay, so first card out, we have the moon. So yeah, all of the emotions, all of the just energy all over the place. Hey, yes, the restlessness has been off, took lots of time off to tend to self. Yeah. And of course, here in the US, for most of us, depending on which time zone you live in, we also have the time change on Sunday. So that also may be messing up things. It's a very interesting energy. But the moon, so the moon rules in the deck, the tarot deck rules the sign of Pisces. And this card is called Ruler of Flux and Reflux. Let me get some more cards out. Anyone else having similar experiences? Also feels like there's a lot that's getting flushed out. Okay, we have Knight of Pentacles and Knight of Swords. So when I have multiple knights out, that is an energy of movement, but also can talk about conflict. And two more cards. Hello to folks coming in. There's a lot of spiritual energy floating around. A lot of spirit communication. Probably also still some ancestral communication happening. Hello. For those of you who are joining in, I'm just doing a check-in on the energy and getting some guidance for us because the past 72 hours have been a lot. And prayers definitely go out to those of you who have recently lost your job if you are in tech. Or just in general, if businesses have been laying off and you are without work. Love to you. Last card. Oh, I forgot to show you this card. So, Eight of Pentacles. So this may have to do with work and money, but also this is from a spiritual context. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Swords. Yeah, it's just this energy. And last card that came out was the Ten of Swords. So with this Eight of Swords, though, this is actually really standing out to me in terms of the lining up with what we are needing to be lined up with. I touched on this a bit in the live I did, I think it was last week for the November Entrepreneur Guidance. If you have not watched that, definitely go ahead and watch it. Because even if you're not in business for yourself, it still has relevance for personal guidance too. But I was talking about, guidance for the month and the Scorpio energy and the themes that were coming up around power and money. But one of the things that came up in that full discussion was about how we're moving into a time where, and we're kind of already in a precursor for it, we're moving into a time where we we, meaning all of us, our lives, etc., have to line up with what spirit has for us. And when I say spirit in this context, it's closer to home. So it's not, this grand big idea. It's literally your higher self, what your higher self, your soul is calling you to align with. And the more aligned we are with that, the greater the manifestation and the faster the manifestation is going to be, especially as we get into next year. But the places where there are resistance around that, or there's not enough that's lined up, there's conflict. And so this kind of like restless energy is about, again, this Knight of Pentacles to the Knight of Swords, lining up our life for all that we have control over. So our spiritual work, our mental, emotional, physical routines, the work that we do, our business, whatever, is lining up with what is karmically true for our soul, for our higher self, for our spirit. Because the swords is here at the center of things, like at the heart of the matter, this tells me that there are actually some belief systems that have to get unpacked. Especially again with the Eight of Swords. There's eights talk about ascending, surrendering to what is actually true with the capital T. So there actually may be some very subtle ways that you've been operating, thinking, planning, etc., that are steeped in belief systems, mental constructs, etc., that are not sustainable and are not aligned with how we're supposed to be moving next. So and these will be most likely the Scorpionic and possibly Pisces topics. So money and power. Creativity is also here. And spirit. The universe, the divine. Yeah, okay, so as I was filling into that, like, this is where the fight is. This is where the fight is. It's there's either something that you are aware of or that is just about to come to conscious awareness. So it might be in at that border of unconscious and subconscious, and it feels uncomfortable and you feel restless because it's bubbling up, and there's a part of you that doesn't want it to bubble up, because when it bubbles up and you see it, you're going to have to address it and you're going to make adjustments, right? which means that that part is no longer going to be in power. So there may actually be an internal war. And again, with the double knights here and the Eight of Swords, that definitely resonates. But the tumultuous energy that you may be feeling is indicative of the fact that there is the truer part of you that is seeking to be more free, more fully expressed. And so whatever these belief systems and mental constructs and behaviors have been, excuse me, they have to be deconstructed. They have to be stripped. Now, high key, because we're talking about money and power, this is basically essentially going to be decolonization work and anti-capitalistic work. Real talk. And in particular for my fellow entrepreneurs, you really got to look at this. So really seeing where your sense of value and what you bring to the table and your service, how that is inextricably linked to money. And it can show up in one of two ways. So it's one where you don't allow for something to be birthed fully because in your mind you don't think you have resources yet or have resources to actually put that thing in motion. And so you prevent yourself from even taking the step that is necessary to get the ball rolling on that thing and, you know, allowing the resources to come in. So it's a sabotaging something before it can even start because the consideration of the thing is tied to whether or not it's going to make money. And that's its own topic, especially as an entrepreneur, because obviously you're in business to make money. But if you are serving and if you're aligned with your divine spirit and with the divine, the resources will come. And your job as CEO is to do what you can with what you have and let the momentum build. And that's actually the positive side of the Knight of Pentacles. The negative side of this is like trying to wait until you have everything set up perfectly before you take action. And with that message, that of course is going to be specific to specific circumstances. So this isn't about taking unnecessary risks, but again, it's about for what you have available to you to do, knowledge, resources, people, connections, whatever, time, that should be done, and let whatever is seemingly not there come in later, but don't allow like this idea of not having money stop you from doing the myriad of things that are not in any way, shape, or form connected to having money. So that's one thing. So then the other thing is, or that's one way that this can be showing up for you. The other way is you are in some way, shape, or form not allowing yourself to actually receive the finances that you're supposed to be receiving based off of the work, based off of the service that is being provided. And so there's this devaluing of what you're bringing to the table because you think that money makes something bad. Like, you think if money is in the picture, it's sullying, it's dirtying, it's making it less divine, less pure, less true if it's present or if it's actually matching, again, the value that's being delivered. And that's the opposite side. So this can be, this kind of monk-like behavior or ascetic behavior where you are not getting your needs met and overly sacrificing and not actually creating the impact that you need to create, because increasing your impact, i.e. touching more lives, transforming more people's lives, necessarily means that you would actually be making more money. But because, again, you have this idea about money being a negative thing that devalues something of value, you prevent that growth. Let me know which of those resonates with you, for those of you that are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. Is it the first where you don't let yourself initiate new things, take on new things because you feel like you don't have all the resources to do it to the level that it needs to be done and to be making the money that you think it needs to be making, and so you just stop the progress? Or are you in the other group where you don't allow your needs and your wants to get met because you see money as something that devalues things of value? That's something that has to get unpacked, right? Let me know in the comments, or if you're watching this recording, put this in the comments. The other topic, of course, is power. And this is really more so related to where you are affirming yourself. Where is that center point? Is that actually within you, within your own spirit? Is your spirit leading the way, along with support from your ancestors, your guardian angels, etc.? Or is that center of affirmation and validation centered outside of you? Meaning you spend more time focusing on what other people are doing, how they're showing up, how they look, how they talk. If you're in business for themselves, the type of things that they're providing, the aesthetic that they have for their brand, the way that they market, all those things, and you're using that as the template for how you're supposed to show up, right? Where is that center? And so that may be coming up, because if the center is outside of you, then that alignment piece is going to be really uncomfortable. Hello. If that center piece is outside of yourself, the realignment is going to be very uncomfortable. Because the thing is, what this eclipse, and as we go into next year fully, is going to be showing is you will manifest what's for you. And if you have not been cultivating that which is for you, then you won't have a container for the blessings that are coming. Because, for instance, if your center has been more so focused on those outside of you. You've been busy cultivating or mimicking them. But it's not yours. And so if they're in alignment with themselves, they'll get blessed. But you're going to miss opportunities because you weren't spending time cultivating that which is specific and unique to you. So can you have the courage to do that? Right? And so what does that come down to? When you are centering, when your center is in the self rather than external, and to dissect this a little bit more, the centering to self, this is letting your own spirit lead, letting your own spirit be the standard, letting your own spirit be the place where you have counsel first about a thing, and where you go to ask, what would you have me do? And why, and how would you like me to approach it? That's the focus. Because our spirit moves very simply and very clearly. Now, our challenge is to keep ourselves busy in the midst of the transition to the physical manifestation of things, right? But your spirit is clear. It knows what it wants you to do. This moon energy, this Pisces energy is showing you that there's a lot more, not only to you as a soul right now, but also in the environment around you than you may realize. And you're starting to get a taste of what more feels like. And if the more is feeling uncomfortable, and often this is going to start with, more physical energy, more mental energy, more creative energy, you got to look at your reaction to that. Are you leaning in and allowing yourself to output more? Or are you trying to double down and do less? So over these coming days, and honestly, I would say through the beginning part of next week, real talk. Yeah, this is going to be present through the 14th. This energy is going to be present through the 14th. So journal and really start unpacking the power dynamics I was talking about and the money dynamics I was talking about within you, within your belief systems. What are you defending? What are you assuming to be true about how you approach things? The reason why you do things, like that needs to get deconstructed. And if you're not sure what to focus on, again, it's going to be stuff around money, which is always a focus for entrepreneurs, right? and stuff around power. And then so for entrepreneurs, it's going to be about brand identity, essentially. What is true for you versus how you may be unconsciously or subconsciously trying to mimic others. But don't run from this restlessness. Don't run from these places that are uncomfortable, because there's wisdom here. You don't have to push, but you don't want to run from it either. Because the unsettled energy is really energy that is trying to move. So you need to use it. Move your body, journal, like I said, talk with somebody, move the energy, create. And really take a decolonizing, anti-capitalistic approach to that work. And that's in particular for my fellow Black entrepreneurs. Because this thing around centering into self versus outside of yourself, that's the power stuff. Because a lot of how we have been trained to show up, not only in our personal lives, but especially professionally and in our business, has been influenced and shaped by dominant culture. And dominant culture does not center the wisdom of African people. And it is not communal in nature. It is extractive. It is parasitic. It's always about perpetual growth and taking advantage. Last thing I'll say about this energy, and then I'll open it up for questions if folks have. Regardless of whatever is going on outside of your control, there are plenty of things for you to focus on. And your job right now is to focus on those things. There is progress that needs to be continued. Momentum that needs to be maintained. It's not necessarily really creative energy, so I wouldn't push or as it relates to creative stuff at this time. Whether that is literally like artistic stuff or if you're creating like content and copy and all that, like you may find it a little bit difficult with this energy. This energy right now is more so best for more left brain tasks. Okay, so like simple things that you can check off your list, looking at your numbers, like that kind of stuff is going to be fine. But any kind of like deeper strategy or planning or that kind of stuff, I would say to wait until next Tuesday, because this Pisces energy is being activated right now. And this is being affirmed by the astrology. Like we have Venus, Mercury, and the Sun aspecting Neptune and Pisces. So this is exacerbating this energy. And, the water signs in general get associated with creativity and creative expression along with the fire energy, but Neptune is retrograde right now. So this is a time with these aspects, with the Sun, Mercury, and with Venus, and we also have Mars retrograde, to review, rethink, recalibrate how you are manifesting. Because Pisces itself represents the unconscious as well. You're really being given an opportunity, if you will use it, to see what are the fundamental belief systems and constructs that are operating in me right now, and that have been operating in me up to this point. And is that working? And if you are feeling unsettled, most likely it's not. Pay attention to the things that you are constantly looping in. I gave this example in one of my group programs on Tuesday about how there's a particular creative project that I have not yet been able to move forward and complete, because I have multiple different ways that I can go with it, and I have not settled into it. And I realized in my time with Spirit that part of the reason why I was having such a hard time with this is because I was no longer the same person that had created that project originally. And that project was something that I created 20 years ago. I didn't realize it had been that long. Like I knew on the surface, but not really knew. And once that really came to my conscious awareness, I was like, oh, I've been holding on to this for way too long. And I'm trying to push this particular project to happen, but it's not mine anymore because that version of me has died. And so I really just had to have this moment of like, can I just let this go? Because it's not like it's the only creative thing that I have to focus on. I have so many others, but I just had become obsessed with doing this thing and proving this thing, because there was this underlying pattern that was associated with these ideas around power, around money, etc., that was wrapped up in who I thought I was and had, of course, infiltrated my creative expression. And it just wasn't true anymore. And I literally could feel that like dissolving out of me. Right? That's just one example. But please know and understand, like anything that you're dealing with, and I'll use myself as an example. That was a eye-opening experience with that particular creative thing. But one of the things that I'm taking from this message is that's not limited to that project, because those constructs around the money, around the sense of personal power, infiltrates every single aspect of my life. And so what I will do, and I have been doing, but even more in depth these next couple days, is looking at all those places where I feel like things are stuck, or like I'm still working on, or I want to have a breakthrough on, and seeing where these roots of my stuff that were showing up in the same way with that little creative project, where that is showing up in these other areas, and start to unravel that and to start to let those things go. And the only way those things can be let go is if I actually take the time to look at it and see it, and to call a thing a thing. So I invite you to do the same. Don't miss this window of opportunity. The energy is going to shift into Sagittarius very quickly. And if you want the benefit and the beneficial side of Sagittarius to bless your life, because blessings are coming. Side note, if you have not watched the 2023 Spiritual New Year forecast that I did, you can check it out at the link in my bio. Next month, the Sagittarius month, we got the 6 of Wands. So there is a beautiful energy that is coming, a lot of blessings. If you want that to be the max that it can be, because the Sagittarius season is coming up very soon, this work is going to be important. Because Sag is expansion, right? It's ruled by Jupiter. And Pisces used to be ruled by Jupiter. But we're given a chance now to, again, line up what's really there for us without the constraints of the previous belief systems that we've had around power and money, hindering those opportunities, hindering the intentions and desires of our soul. And trust, those things that, those belief systems and whatever that are there that need to be addressed, they serve the purpose because they got us to where we are. So they're not bad, but we have to understand and to look at the opportunity being given and the insight being shown to us that, like, this thing that was a benefit before is now a hindrance. So see it for what it is, call it out for what it is, and remove it so that the next stage of what your abundance and your blessings is supposed to be can actually fully come to you without you inadvertently sabotaging it. And these next couple days in particular are primed for that. So if you are joining in late, definitely go back and review this live anyway, and use it as an anchor in your daily spiritual work now through Monday. And don't give yourself a pass. Because remember what I said, the stuff that is coming up here affects every area of your life. It affects every area of your life. Portionality says, yeah, that resonates with where my business is. Yeah. It affects everything. What is the loop? What is the story that we keep telling to ourselves? What are the wishes that we want to have happen that still haven't happened yet because of whatever reason, but it's always the same reason? And trust and believe, like, this work is not a like rah, like, motivate myself to like break through. Like, that's not what this energy is. The card that we got for our work is the Knight of Pentacles. That's Hermit energy. That's Virgo. This is real talk. Like, oh no, I need to actually like study myself, because I've been believing something that has not been serving me. And on the one side, it's not even necessarily that it's not true, because our belief systems don't just arise out of nowhere. Like, thoughts can arise out of nowhere because we have collective mind, but beliefs are things that develop over time with our experiences. So when we have created beliefs, it's because of experiences that we've had. And I know for me, a lot of the stuff around money and centering power within self, or lack thereof for both of those, has very much been related to me as Black woman, and as poor, growing up in the South, and being, because of the opportunities available to me through the arts and my intelligence, being exposed to the rest of like how this country is set up, which is white and usually white male, and significantly higher socioeconomic status, and the repercussions of the distortion and the adaptations that had to come in to navigate those spaces where I was the only. And those adaptations served to help me survive those spaces. The world 20 years ago here in this country, very different than the world that is now. Yes, there are some issues that we're still dealing with the same, but in terms of access, resources, community, freedom, etc., like very different world just in 20 years. So those patterns, those belief systems that were born out of our genius now have to be deconstructed. Those now have to get deconstructed. Power within you, or are you centering outside of yourself? And money. And specifically money in the ways that I was talking about earlier in this video. So go back and watch that. Sending this to my lady. Awesome. Thank you for this. You are welcome. All right. So yeah. Any questions or any other comments before I bounce? I was not expecting to be on this long, but you know how it is. Anything, any questions or any comments before I go? And I'm not saying this is going to be easy, y'all. It may, because we're talking belief systems and unconscious and subconscious patterns, it may really bring up a lot of stuff. I always know when there's like stuff that's trying to move within me because I feel really uncomfortable in my own skin. And I can tell that there's emotion that's trying to move. And I can tell there's something that's trying to break through out of my heart, but it's like, it hasn't bubbled up enough. So it feels physically uncomfortable, but I understand what's happening. And I keep leaning in. Because I keep saying yes. My soul says yes. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's anything else. So thank you so much. Again, if you would like to work with me, whether it's for personal development or for business development, so you can set up a free call with me at the link in my bio. Or just check out the other services that I have available on my website. Yeah, and please do share this with folks because based off of what I'm feeling, what's happening in the greater soul family and in the collective, like, yeah, I think this message is really important and people need to hear it. Because what this is actually about is much closer to home. Right? It's much closer to home. Not that the bigger issues aren't important, they are. But with this energy, the Scorpio eclipse threshold that we're in for these next several months, this is really where it is. And my entrepreneurs in particular, like, you really have got to get this. And I'm saying this to myself as well. Like, all of us have places where our stuff is getting in the way of us getting our needs met, our wants met, and growing our business and impacting more people. And we got to do this work of unpacking. And it's here now. So it's not even like we have to work that hard. We actually just have to be patient and diligent to do so over the next couple of days. Starting today. Because if you're hearing this today, if you're watching it today, like, start now. So as soon as we get off this live, like, go journal. Spend time with your ancestors, go into the Akashic records, work with your crystals, whatever you do. But nothing, like, please hear me. And again, I'm saying this to myself. Over these next couple days, nothing is more important than this. Especially if you want what your spirit and what the ancestors have for you, have for us in 2023. This work that we do today in these next few days is the excavation work that needs to happen so that we actually get the flow that's supposed to be coming to us next year. Please hear me. Saturn is going to be in Pisces. Saturn represents karmic law. Pisces is literally the divine. It is one of the god signs. Are you actually going to be ready for your inheritance? Or no? All right, the light is shifting because it's about to be like sunset over here, so I'm about to be blasted with all this light. But hopefully that resonated. Okay, I'll come over here. Hopefully that resonated with y'all. Please share this, reach out at the link in my bio if you would like to donate for this message. My PayPal is also at the link in the bio. And the November astrology and my monthly missive are linked as well in the link in my bio. And other than that, if you're going to be in Austin, Texas for Afrotech and you already have your RSVP for the Blavity and Div Inc. event, you'll see me there, God willing, on the 14th. I'm heading out over the weekend, so I will be there on Monday for my talk there. And yeah, I think that's it. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Please let me know in the comments how this process is going from you, what you took from it. Tag folks, share this in your stories, all the things. And yeah, let's get this liberation because why not? All right. Love you much. Bye.